Have you ever been around a little kid that just wouldn't shut up? I mean, literally won't stop talking. The crazy thing about that is that we used to be those kids until someone made us feel as though our voice and our emotions are inadequate. But I'm tired of being that scared and people pleasing kid for the sake of others. I have found this beautiful ray of confidence, and I'm learning this voice I thought I lost. And I'm becoming overwhelmingly excited to speak, especially when not spoken to. So if you want to join that, if you want to speak when not spoken to, if you want to feel the freedom that you once had as a kid, welcome home. And this is Couch Sessions. What's up, humans? I am so excited to be back with you. It's another Wednesday, a great day, a freakishly hot day, if we're being honest. Whole game plan. We're still going to sort of rock with it, but I want to talk about how hot it is. Just in case any of you want to move to New York, or some of you are listening from New York. What? English. So, in New York, when you get an apartment, don't expect air conditioning, okay? Because it's more than likely not going to be there. And my roommates and I decided that we're just going to go with the whole fan thing, because to get air conditioning units, it's like $600+ plus you got to pay someone to like do the thing, and then you're only going to use it for like 3.5 months. And then your, let's say, $800 investment just sits there and does nothing for the rest of the year. So we decided, you know what, we just won't take part, which we're sort of hating right now. Like, happily at night, it gets cool. But during the day, I'm sweating like a sinner in church. If you know what that reference is, you can stay. If you don't, I guess you can still stay. And it's a lot. So anyway, for those who maybe want to move to New York, here are some things that I think make the city great. Obviously, there are some cons for humans. I have some cons about living in New York, one being that air conditioning isn't automatically in everyone's apartments. But there are a lot of pros, at least for me. New York is what I would call my home state. I don't think there's any state in the U.S. that I could picture myself living in. And I've lived in Illinois, Atlanta, Georgia, Kankakee, Illinois, Atlanta, Georgia. I've lived in California, Los Angeles for a literal month. So you can tell I wasn't much of a fan. No offense to those who live in LA. I'll happily come and visit. Just living wasn't my thing. And New York, as far as like places I've lived in the States. And New York is just, wow. I mean, it's taught me so much. Granted, I did move to New York in the midst of the world ending. So it was a ghost town when I got here. Like literally like Times Square, there was 50 people. I could get on the subway and like do a whole spin and not touch anyone. I can't do that now. And like it was like a ghost town because, you know, people are dying. But the city has taught me so many beautiful and amazing things, and it continues to teach me some beautiful and amazing things. So today I just wanted to share what those things are. And so the first thing that New York has taught me is, man, like, be ready to fail. And I know that sounds pretty like daunting, but like be ready to fail. And like be like excited for it. I used to be afraid of failing. Like I wouldn't start things because I'm like, oh my God, what if I fail? What if like it doesn't work? What if I disappoint people? What if, just a whole bunch of what ifs. And I guess like we all have that. But like being here in this city has pushed me to go beyond my what ifs. Whereas there was a time when I was younger, I think I was like 9 or 10. Fun fact, I've been singing and dancing and acting since I was like 5. And I was about to be signed to my first acting agency out in LA. And a person I loved very, very, well, I still love, who's very important to me, had a habit of comparing me to another girl who I knew at the time, who we both were in the same field of singing and acting, but she already had an agent. She did a few movies, and like has the voice of 1,000 angels. Like, love her. But this person would always compare me to her, and would say like, this person has the X factor, has the it factor, has the thing that people want to see, and then like just looked at me and said, you don't. And when I tell you, all of my dreams came crashing down to like my like feet. Like I literally, I stopped singing and I stopped dancing and I stopped wanting to even act. Because I'm like, so like, why bother if the person, if a person who like literally means the world to me, who I feel like wouldn't lie to me, um, would say that. And granted, I was a kid, so um, feelings relatively like fragile, and I didn't really have like a backbone then. Um, and then like moving forward, like just through getting older and realizing that I don't want to hate life because I live in America and I don't know when life is gonna end. Frankly, ever. I mean, granted, no one knows when life is gonna end, but I don't know if I'm gonna die in my sleep or on the train, or if I happen to walk into a school or movie theater or concert or almost anywhere, um, to like, live. So I'm like, why settle on someone else's what if, and someone else's comparison when I believe I can do this. I believe there's a certain part of me, a certain aspect of my music, or a certain part of my acting style that could one day truly help people, or like give people like a smile, like make people feel inspired. So like, why settle for someone else's comparison? So here we are. We're living in New York, and we are, I wouldn't say thriving, but I would say definitely happy on the road that I've chosen to move forward. And I failed a lot. I failed a whole lot. But the really cool thing about failing is that you can always try again. So, because that means you really never fail. It means you just have a different strategy, a different way of going about it. Now, if you decide to go about something the exact same way you've already been doing it, then that's insanity. So maybe let's not do that. Um, and so that's just every day, every single day, every time I fall, just get back up. Every time you fall, just get back up, because failing is the greatest thing we can do to figure out how do we really want something to go. The second thing New York has taught me is that I have to be my own main character. Like, when you walk down the streets of New York, like, you can tell the people who believe they are the main character and everyone else is just a supporting role from those who like don't. Like, you can tell it in a heartbeat, and like, I love seeing it because there's just certain air of confidence and sophistication that these people have. Because the thing is, you can also tell the people who are faking it. New York is a great place to figure out who fakers are. I didn't realize it at first, but it's really easy almost. It's really easy. Like, some people can hide it well. But it's like, because they're usually trying too hard. But it's, man, it's just in awe, just seeing how I've transformed, and like how much of, I don't want to say boss, not yet. We're close to our boss days, but it's not yet. But seeing my confidence grow beyond what it was before I came here, because I moved from Georgia to here, and in that time span, I was a worship leader, pastor person. I know. I promise you guys, I'm not going to shove Christianity down your throat because I don't like it pushed down mine. So I basically, there was a lot of sexism, and there's a lot of don't speak unless spoken to. There was a lot of you can't do this, you can't wear that, you can't talk like this, you can't dress like that, you can't whatever, all of that. And I felt like I had to like presume this perfect Southern Christian person who honestly I hated. One, because I don't agree with the vast majority of a lot of the values of what that picture presents. Um, and I just found it suffocating. I felt myself like putting on a show or putting on a brave face or putting on a character to live up to the expectations that I felt like people were holding me to. And then I moved away, and it just felt like weights were lifted off of my shoulders. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can be a real person now. I can tell people no without sandwiching them. I can wear what I want to wear and not feel ashamed of my body because, I mean, it's gorgeous. I don't have to pretend like there's never a chance I'm angry with God, because it happens often. Like, it's just the reality of being in this city has showed me that I am more of the woman I've wanted to be than I was in the past. And I absolutely love it. I love her. She loves to read. She loves to journal. She loves to go on walks when it's not as hot as Satan's butthole. She loves to go to the movies. She realizes that she does not like kids as much as she thought she did. Because to be able to live in this city, and instead of selling my kidneys, and or my eggs, I'm not gonna lie, I thought about it. I was like, if I just sell my eggs, I won't use all of these. Maybe things would be cheaper. But so I nanny to make income, because this is a really great city to do so in. Yeah, I realized very quickly I don't like kids as much as I think I did. I love my kids. My kids are absolutely special. But I love them with every ounce of my being. And even on the days where I want to pull my hair out or wish for the Lord to flood the earth one more time, I wouldn't go back. I would still have my kids. And for those of you just popped into that one bit, I don't mean kids in the standpoint of having just my nanny kids, because they're just freaking awesome. And also, fun fact, shameless plug, on the Tickety Talk, I do I recreate moments with my kids, and I act like them, and it's super funny. You should check it out. Anyway, so but I'm just learning all these really cool things that I don't think I would have been able to learn if I still lived in Georgia or if I lived in Illinois. So sorry, Dad, I love you, but I'm never moving back. Nor staying longer than a week if I don't have to. I love you all so much. Just come to New York. Come to visit in New York. I promise you won't be disappointed. The next thing I learned about New York, about myself in New York, is how much I love people, but how much I love people, meaning I want to sit back and just watch people do people. I think people see New York as like this harsh environment, when in reality it's not harsh, if people got places to go and bills to pay. But it's such a city of, honestly, like, it's such a city of love. Like, it's such a city of love. Like, because it's a huge city and people live in tiny apartments with no AC, you have to like get out to meet people. And so people are usually super nice when it comes to meeting people. Like, I I met fun fact, the beautiful human who's going to edit all this stuff. I met her through a friend who I met that friend at an Eric Nam concert. Come on, nomination. That I happened to just like lean over and comment, talking to another friend who I only spoke to because I was like, I should have brought boba because this other girl was in line with boba. And I was like, I should have got some. Where'd you get some? And then my other friend just leans over too and goes, "Yeah, where'd you get some?" And then now we're all close. And I went to her birthday party where I met the beautiful human who's filming and editing all of this. And I'm like, if I wouldn't have just talked to someone in a line at a concert, like, what? So now I have like 3 new friends randomly, and it's just so great, and they're all so sweet. And it's just, you have to like literally get out of your comfort zone and just be willing to say hi to someone. And I think a large part of that is just due to, because like New York is such an environment of, I wouldn't say people people are willing to accept you, but it's just like people are gonna meet, are gonna they're not gonna do more work than you. So if you're not gonna meet halfway, they're not gonna meet you at all. And so it's just like people want to be loved, people want to be accepted. People are willing to allow others to grow and to learn, but you have to be willing to do that. And I think that's just one of the biggest things that I love about this place. Like, I love that I have friends of all shapes, sizes, colors, genders, sexuality. Like, I think it's absolutely beautiful. I think my life before was so dull of having friends that, well, happily none of my friends all looked like me. I always had a diverse friend group when it came to like different ethnicities. But like, I love having an abundance of human beings that I get to learn life through and not understand, but to hear their struggles, become more compassionate for people who might have the same struggles, and also lend an ear and also a helping hand with figuring out how we can do better. Like, I took part in my first like pride parade this year, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm proud. It was so much fun. It was so much fun and like so heartwarming, just seeing people love people, like go out of their way to love people, was just so beautiful. Like, there are people who aren't a part of the pride community who were just there cheering these beautiful humans on. And I think that's just like, I think that's like the heart of like New York. Like, people want to cheer people on, but also understand that the moment you're not cheering people on, like the moment that like you choose to be hateful, you choose to be spiteful, this city will chew you up and spit you out in a New York minute. And not I haven't been on the other end of that, but it is funny to watch someone else go through it. And no one comes to their defense. Well, sometimes, all depends on what side of the road you're on. But New York has definitely taught me how to love harder and to love better. Let's see, 2 more things, lighter things. New York has taught me that I also want to get the heck up out of this country, in a playful way, because New York has such a diverse background of people who come from everywhere. Like, sometimes you may think you're talking to an American, but in reality, they're from France or Vietnam, or I've met one of my roommates is from Paraguay. I've met someone from Ukraine. I've met someone from Italy, from Poland, from Brazil, from all over the world. And I think that's awesome. So now I'm just like, I've met all these beautiful people. Now I want to go to where these beautiful people came from. Because I mean, like, if these places produce these beautiful people, then these places must be beautiful. So like, I want to go there and experience it. Just like I get to experience these people. And lastly, what's the one last thing that New York, this city, has taught me, other than the fact that I am expensive for myself, too expensive for myself. It's taught me to be comfortable in the things I thought weren't black enough. And that's crazy. And because of that, I've become prouder to be black. Because I honestly had such an issue with it when I was younger, being that I didn't see anyone who looked like me on the media. Like, I'm black and plus size. I've been plus size, I think, my entire existence as far as I can remember. And I never saw people who looked like me. And and the things that I liked as a kid, like it wasn't popular to be black and liking musical theater. It wasn't popular to be black and love K-pop or watch Asian dramas. People are like, you don't even know what they're saying. I'm like, well, Google is free. You can Google Translate. And there's subtitles that are already there. It wasn't it wasn't cool to want to travel everywhere. Like I would get told, like, why would you want to go there? Like, you live in America. Well, how does it feel to live in America now? No one wants to answer that. Um, and but yeah, it wasn't cool to like be a plant person. I've become a plant maniac since being in New York. I have way too many plant kids, and yes, they all have names. And there are 3 spoiled brats in my little plant nation that I have. But I, because of like just spending time and finding like other expressive and out of the box black human beings, I've become just in love with the fact that I'm a black American. Just so proud of it. Because there are so many different levels of being black that I had no earthly idea existed. When I lived in the South, like the home of the black people, like Atlanta. So like Atlanta, like there's like no like in between. Like you get what you get in Atlanta, and it's beautiful. But I just didn't really like feel seen or feel like I like belong there. I didn't really find my niche in the community. But like when I moved here, I was like, I got it. I love this. Like it's just like I felt like it was like the biggest embrace that my community has like ever given me in my 23 years of existing, and or 24 pending when this comes out. So yeah, loving myself unconditionally, loving all facets of my blackness and my humanness, because in reality we're all humans. That's why I say what's up humans in the beginning, because no matter who you are, where you come from, what you look like, who you love, what you pray to, I don't care if you pray to a tree or if you pray to God or multiple gods, it doesn't really matter to me. But we're all human at the end of the day, and we all deserve to be loved and respected and heard and seen, and just embraced. And that's literally what this city has done for me. And so I hope this city can do that for you if you live here, if you want to live here in the future. I'll have other videos surrounding New York and a more so pinpoint version of like housing and our people and our food. Food is amazing. I'm sorry. There is not a bad restaurant in New York. I mean, there possibly is, but I don't know what it is. And I've only been here for 3 years. All the food is great. Try a K-Dog. They're amazing. If you don't know what that is, again, Google is free. I love eating here. You can literally bounce your way around the world, from Korea to Jamaica to Trinidad to South Africa to Nigeria to Mexico to Cuba. We went to Cuba today for lunch. It was so good. But like sorry, I ended up talking about food. But see, it's just so great. There's so many factors of New York that were just so great for me, are so great for me. Yeah, I had something else to say, then I forgot. So with that being said, I hope that you all find a home, whether that home is like New York or your home is LA. Your home could be Orlando, Florida, or Miami. We all know those are the only cool spots in Florida. No offense, Floridians. Or maybe your home isn't in the U.S. It's somewhere in France or Taiwan or Singapore. I really want to go there. I hear they have a butterfly garden inside of the airport. It's true. It's true. I gotta go. I want to see it so bad. Or maybe it's Tokyo. Maybe it's London, Alaska, Canada, Paraguay. I don't know. The Falkland Islands. They have penguins there. I also want to go there really bad because I love pinguinos. I think they're amazing. But I hope every one of you can experience a place where you can feel like just loved, seen, and heard. Feel like a place is pushing you to be your best self, your most authentic self. Or even if you haven't found that place, I hope you can find a bit of that sense here on this podcast, because we're all family, where we love each other and we listen openly. And we all choose to do great things because we're all more than capable of doing great, amazing, and powerful things. I love you. This is the end of Couch Sessions number 2. I hope you enjoyed your seat today, and I'll see you soon. I love you. Bye.